coming off the Daytona first chase race. Now we're here at the short track, the paperclip half-mile short track of Martinsville, getting ready for quite a different kind of race from what we had last week. And a lot of drivers now are coming in with very different agendas, drivers that are battling for the championship that ran well at Daytona. They're looking to continue on that consistency, but there are a lot of drivers who really struggled last week. We'll document about their hardships last week and what they'll try and do to recover in the next coming races. But it's an all-family affair on the front row with Ty Dent, chaser, who comes in 5th in the chase points, starting alongside of rookie brother TJ Dent in the 15. So one of those two trying to go to victory lane. Ty for the first time, TJ for the second time. Here's command.
Drivers, start your engines.
And we're getting the command to fire them up. Let's show you the starting lineup here for this race and document where our chasers are starting. As I mentioned, Ty Dent starts on the pole position. Alex May will roll off 7th. Cody Lamas in 8th. 9th, Gene Sanford and Chris Washer in 10th. So a lot of chasers in the top 10, but near the end of the top 10, not up near the front like the pole sitter. Looking further down, Trent Dunham rolls off 15th, Austin Mongold in 17th, Dylan Young will start 23rd, Kyle Corbett in 24th. Then you got to look quite a ways down here before you end up finding Sean Galligan, who comes in as the chase points leader right now, 31st. Lewis Stevens will start this race in 32nd, and the lowest starter of the chasers is Jacob Lawler, starting in 39th, which is not good, and we'll tell you why in just a moment. But the green flag is out here at Martinsville, and TJ got a better run than Ty did. Trying to clear him is TJ, not going to be able to do it as he gets the wall off the corner. A number of drivers do, and Ty Dent will go to the lead. Now the reason that Jacob Lawler really does not need to start as far back as he is because he had a very bad race, finishing dead last week at Daytona. He finished the race, didn't get involved in any wrecks, but he just lost the draft. So Lawler really needs something to help him rebound here today, and the yellow flag is waving for the first time here today at Martinsville. Here on lap number 2, they'll raise it back to the line. It's Ty Dent, Jeff Fair, and Sean Henley. That is the top 3 as they cross the line. Let's see who was involved in this incident. And I see some damage on the 54, the rear of the 54 of Charles Jackson. Not rightly sure if he was the one that brought out the yellow or not. A number of these drivers back here could have very well just been behind the wreck and had to slow down. Also some damage on the rear of the Coors Chevrolet of Nick Smith. So he might have been involved in whatever it was as well. And there's also, as you can see right there, some hood damage on the 32 of chaser Alex May. So he might have been collecting whatever this was. But all the drivers that just got lapped, they're going to have to make their way around, get back on the tail end of the lead lap. Ty Dent is the current leader. I don't know if they're going to make any pit stops here or not. Doesn't look like they're going to have much of a choice because they've got drivers coming to their inside to get back on the lead lap. And nope, they're not going to come to pit road. So we'll jump back, take a look at a replay of what puts out the caution for the first time here today at Martinsville. And it started with a 3-wide situation. Dylan Young, Jessica Shelton, and last week's runner-up, Danny Wells. Shelton just caught in the middle, not much place she can go. Danny Wells on the high side, not much place he can go. And Wells going to scrape the wall. Shelton squeezing him up into the wall. And finally, that contact's just going to snap the 5 and the 9 around in front of traffic, right in front of Anthony McCurry's Audi. And I could only assume that Nick Smith, Charles Jackson, all those guys who had damage was because they were all backing into each other, all trying to get on the brakes to avoid this, because this was right in front of a lot of drivers. Look at Lawler creeping on by there, picking up some valuable positions, and there you all see them all slowing up, trying to avoid. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, you see Nick Smith already got his rear end damage. Charles Jackson's already got his, so I think they all just kind of ran into the back of each other, checking up to not ram in and cause a big pileup. But that is what put us out of the caution for the first time here today. Let's go back to the restart. Ty Dent out in front. Lights are still on atop the pace car, but I wanted to take the opportunity of these pace laps to be able to get a little bit more information that I wasn't able to before we went to green. As far as the points days coming into this race, we already mentioned Sean Galligan as the points leader. He has a 6-point advantage over Cody Lamas, and then 15 over Trent Dunham. Chris Washer 16 points out in 4th, and the current leader right now, Ty Dent, is actually tied with Gene Sanford for 5th in the points. And and they're a total of 17 points out of the top position. Now, this is not in any way like the Snickers Cup Series chase, so Ty Dent, if he wins and gets the bonus points and everything, it would help move him up higher up towards the points lead, but there aren't rounds here where, like, if you win, you make it into the next round. So, Ty Dent still looking for that second win, as I said, even though it wouldn't lock him into a next round or anything, but it would definitely help him in the points. Let's show you the top 10 so we get ready to go back to green. Ty Dent leads, Jeff Fair second, Sean Henley's third, Alex May, despite that damage, he's in fourth. Fifth place is TJ Dent. He slipped back quite a bit after starting second. Then sixth is Dylan Thoreau, Gene Stanford seventh, eighth Joshua Collard, ninth Clay Rogers, and Austin Mongold with his teammate Cody Ramos. They are 10th and 11th. We'll move back up here to the front. See if we have a battle for the lead. We do. Jeff Fair going to try his fair to the inside. See what I did there? And he is going to go to the inside and try to take the lead from Ty Dent, and he's got it. Ty now sets back to second. Alex May there, damaged hood and all, running in third. That's one thing about Martinsville. You see so many times drivers with damaged cars still running. Whoa! TJ spins in front of the field there. That wasn't what brought out a yellow. The yellow was out before that. But Alex May still up to speed apparently, and Jacob Lawler is on the pit lane. So too is last week's winner, James McLeod. Now, why did those two make pit stops? James Qualls has got damage, as does the points leader, Sean Galligan. As I said, cars are very durable when we come to Martinsville. There's a chance that they'll be able to continue, but now Lawler is coming to a dead stop in front of everybody. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not good at all for Jacob Lawler. This is not what he needed, especially after what happened last week, the dead last finish at Daytona. But, man. And Henley's got some damage now, and he's scored in the 7th position. So where in the world did this all start? I don't know. But I do know we got a new leader. In the 23 of Jeff Fair, let's take a look at a replay of what just happened for the second caution of the day here at Martinsville. This was right just outside the top 20. Chris Maley and Carson Gum racing for a position. Maley gives Carson absolutely no room. Carson was already up and into the wall. Danny Wells, who was already involved in the first caution of the day, he's going to get a piece of this one here as Maley's car's going to come right down to his lane of traffic. And then Danny Wells, there you see the hit from behind. There's where Galligan is going to get his damage. Now James Qualls, he is able to avoid this one. You see him there just coming out of that cloud of smoke. But what's going to happen to him happens further down here in turn number 3. Look at Qualls trying to make his way through traffic. He didn't really slow down when everybody else was on the brakes, so he's going to try and split it 3 wide, actually 4 wide here into turn 3, and Charles Jackson is already way down to the inside. Momo Akari, I don't think, knew he was there, comes down into his passenger side door and then slides up into Qualls, and Qualls is going to clip Galligan yet again, and those two go around there in turn number 3. And you saw Jacob Lawler in the 41 on pit road, actually was making a pit stop, and so too was James McLeod, last week's winner at Daytona. So I don't know what that's all about, but I think both of them now, as a result, they have fallen off the lead lap. And, of course, James McLeod doesn't have anything to lose because he's not in the chase. But for Lawler, after what happened last week at Daytona, this is certainly not good for the 41 early on in this race. Well, Sean Galligan, as I said, came in as the points leader. He is badly damaged, but he is going to try and still continue. He is scored in the 40th position right now. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he is off the lead lap. I'll check to confirm that. No, he's still on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap. There are 2 cars 1 lap down there. James McLeod and Jacob Lawler. Maybe they can get themselves back on the tail end of the lead lap. I don't know. Top 10. Jeff Fair, Alex May, Dylan Thoreau, Ty Dent, Gene Sanford. Then it's Lamas, Henley, David Rivera, TJ Dent, and Joshua Collins. Green flag back out here at Martinsville, and McLeod did not get a good jump, so he's not going to be in a hunt for trying to get a lap back. Jacob Lawler, on the other hand, he is trying. Whoa, trouble back there. David Rivera, Sean Henley get together. Those are 2 drivers in the top 10. Yellow flag out one more time here at Martinsville. And Lawler just cleared James McLeod. Lawler might be able to battle his way back onto the tail end of the lead lap on this next restart. That car still looks pretty strong. But it was Henley and TJ Dent and David Rivera I saw get together, and more trouble here. Out of 4, Dylan Poteet's now got damage. and they're starting to back into each other here in this corner. I don't know who it was Poti got into, but now he's got a lot of hood damage on his number 31. Caution out for the third time here today. Jeff Fair loving it out in front. Second look at a replay of yet another caution flag. Let's see if we can find out what exactly happened here. Watch the 15 of TJ Den gets a nice run through the middle of the corner. Oh, were they 4 wide off this turn? Oh no, David Rivera, Sean Henley already started getting into each other before they even exited turn number 2. And then I think Rivera just squeezes Henley up into the wall there, and TJ got a little piece of it, but not much. And then right in front of Clay Rogers and Austin Mongold and company, and they're all trying to slow down. Look at Dylan Poti up in the wall. He might actually run to the back of somebody there. That might be where he gets his damage. No, they all slowed down. Qualls got the wall there back there, though. I don't know if you saw him top of the screen. He took the turn really wide and kind of awkwardly exited the corner, and it caused his car to go around. There he is. But then let's see what happens to Dylan Poti here, because the 31... Okay, there he is. Does something happen further? Oh, Stephen Pollard loses it right there. Steve Pollard in the 99, and I'm failing right now at trying to trigger it. There he is. Oh, and Chris Maley, Nick Smith get involved, and then Sean Galligan gets turned up the racetrack, up into Anthony McCrory. They're all into the fence, and then Poti runs into the back of Nick Smith. A lot of domino chain reaction stuff going on here at Martinsville. And the points leader collected one more time, along with Poti, Chris Maley, Anthony McCrory, and a number of others. Martinsville is that kind of a track where cautions breed cautions, and we've been breeding cautions since the drop of the green flag. Let's go back to yet another one, though, as we continue on here at Martinsville. Lights are still on atop the pace car. We're nearing 20 laps complete. There are a couple of drivers that are on pit road. Chris Louvier was scored in the 18th position last time by. He's on pit road, damage on his machine. And Alex May has also been taking his car on and off the pit road under the last few caution pace laps. So that's another chase driver encountering problems here today. So far, according to my tally, we've basically had 3 chase drivers get caught up in incidents here. The points leader, Sean Galligan. Alex May now added to the list along with Jacob Lawler, but Lawler's luck could turn around here. There you see him on the inside, 1 lap down, but he has a chance. If a quick caution can come out to get ahead of Jeff Fair and get himself back onto the tail end of the lead lap. It looks like he is up to speed. McLeod, however, I don't think is. So, the fact that he's ahead of the 51, Lawler's got a shot here. Let's see what happens. Green flag out. And Lawler did not get a good jump there. Try and battle underneath of Gene Sanford. Try and then run down Jeff Fair, but right now it is all Jeff Fair out in front. Now Lawler is not in second place, but he's trying to get back on the lead lap. He needs to catch the 23, and he did not really close up any distance that time. Fair continues to lead, and now Jacob Lawler, who is trying to run down Jeff Fair for a spot back on the tail of the lead lap, now is under fire. Gene Sanford's got a quest. She's trying to get back up to Jeff Fair's back bumper, and her teammate's right behind her in Dylan Thoreau, but the yellow flag is out one more time. So Alex May makes yet another pit stop. Apparently the damage on that hood much more fatal than I was originally predicting. And this yellow flag, well, Nick Smith's back on the pit road again. Could be anybody back here. There's so many damaged machines back here. Lewis Stevens, Steve Pollard, James Qualls, Anthony McCrory, that have all been involved in one thing or another. But I'm wondering if it could possibly be that 3 machine again of Nick Smith. He's been hit here and there and everywhere all day today at Martinsville, and we are just nearing the halfway point here today at Martinsville. Lap 24 on the board, halfway point next time around. Let's take a look at a replay of what I believe now is our 4th caution, and we're only halfway through this race. Well, here it is right here. Another incident near the rear of the field. Clay Rogers. Boy, Ricky Falcon got a nice run on him coming into turn number 1, but Rogers wasn't going to let him in. Right here, you're going to see a little bit of bumper grab as it just sends the 1 car loose and up into the outside wall. Comes back down right in front of traffic. McCrory, very luckily, was able to get on the brakes and get low enough to avoid. But since the leaders were going to be closing in there pretty soon, NNSCRA decided to throw the yellow flag, even though it was a single car incident, and that was what put us under the yellow here for the 4th time at Martinsville. I hope you're ready for a long one. I don't think this is the last caution flag that we have seen yet. So we'll get ready to go back to green. We do have some drivers out of the race at this point, and they include Chris Louvier and Dylan Poteet. 41st and 42nd is where those two will finish out today's race. We got Jacob Lawler, James McLeod, Alex May, and Nick Smith all scored one lap down. And everybody else is on the lead lap. Not necessarily up to speed, but they are running on the lead lap. Surprisingly enough, like I've said, these cars are durable, and we are halfway through this race with only 2 drivers that have taken their cars back behind the wall. Now Jacob Lawler is going to get another try here. Lights should go out this time. We should get the signal of 1 to go. Lawler will line up again alongside of Jeff Fair, but the problem for Lawler is time's ticking, and for him that time ticking is till lap 40. When it becomes lap 40, he will not get the benefit of starting alongside the leader again. It will be 10 to go, and any restarts after that will be single file, whether it's a lap down car or not. So Lawler it's go time. He's got to get himself back on the lead lap here so he can try getting up there and challenging for a couple more positions in order to end up at least gaining a bit here in the point standings. But right now, it's a lot of pressure on him, but a lot of pressure on Jeff Fair too. He's got Gene Sanford right behind him, Dylan Thoreau, Joshua Collard, and another chaser there in Cody Lamas. 2 chasers in the top 5 as green flag back out. Lawler got a little bit better restart that time, but Jeff Fair is still going to be able to clear him heading here into 1. Wow, Gene took that turn wide and gets into the wall. Dylan Thoreau now moves by, and I don't like the look of this back here. Nick Smith, James McLeod battling there, and oh man, look at this off this corner. Lamas, Collard, Washer, all up into the fence. Pole sitter is involved. Ty Dent. A lot of damage on the 14 as he took a hard lick into that. And the caution flag's going to wait for that, undoubtedly. Yeah, caution's already out. And Jeff Fair, these cautions certainly helping him. It looked like there was some dark smoke waving there. Oh, Kyle Matthews, Matthew Dallio on the pit lane, along with David Rivera and Clay Rogers, and Bob Jones is blown up. There must have been something else that took place besides the Cody Lamas, Chris Washer, and Joshua Collard incident. Jones is zigzagging back and forth on the track. That's going to lay down a lot of fluid, too. Boy, that is a big wreck, apparently. It looks like Momo Akari was collected in as well as she's bringing her car to pit road. Ricky Falcon also hitting the pit lane. So I would say we had 2 different wrecks, but I think one was a lot worse than the other, apparently. As, whoa, contact there between Falcon and Jones as Jones was trying to get a his pit stall. Peppers are flaring here at the short track of Martinsville. This was right up there in the top 5, actually. I was going to say the top 10, but this was actually a battle that was on for 4th, 5th, and 6th place. And there you just see it. Collard, no room. Lamas slides up into him, and then Chris Washer slides up into Lamas, creates a chain reaction. Watch the hit right there for Ty Dent. Hits both Collard and Cody Lamas. He never slowed down. Look at Jessica Shelton sneaking on by for positions, along with her teammate Henry Sanford. And Connor Breeden and Sean Henley. That's a lot of valuable spots they just picked up there thanks to that. And look at Dylan Young right there, too. We could see Dylan Young up inside the top 10 because of that. But then, let's see what happens here. I want to find the 38 of Bob Jones because he was the one that was smoking. Okay, the incident with him already had taken place. This was back out of turn 2. Contact between the points leader Sean Galligan and the Shell Chevrolet of Bob Jones. But they got into each other already off of 2. And I don't think one of them didn't take kindly to that or something. And Galligan just kept turning to the right into Bob Jones. And there they are. They're going to go around. And where's the hit that's going to be the death knell for the 38? And might come in the form of that 42 of Momo Akari. Oh, nope. Right there, a shot from Lewis Stevens. He was involved in that. Oh, and then here comes Clay Rogers. Full speed ahead. There's the shot right there. And then he gets into Galligan, too. And then Momo Akari gets yet another piece of it there. So Lewis Stevens gets involved in that there. This is not what he needed to get involved in a wreck. And look at Danny Wells run that high line out of turns 3 and 4. There you see Rivera, Kyle Matthews, and Matthew Dallio all hitting the pit lane. And then all these guys end up coming up here and getting up close to that incident of Lamas, Washer, and Collard off of turn 4. But talking about the 62 of Lewis Stevens, he did get a slight piece of that. And he's another driver, much like Lawler, who struggled last week at Daytona, finished in 41st out of 42 drivers, and really does not need to be running far back here and getting involved in wrecks, but really struggling here. A lot of chase drivers are at Martinsville. Just getting back in time for the restart. It just took place, and Jacob Lawler just made the move to get back on the tail of the lead lap. Nick Smith's trying to do the same. Meanwhile, we got a battle here for, well, I thought it was for the lead, but Thoreau now has his hands full with Jason McLeod. And look at Jessica Shelton. Spun out for the first caution. She's up here trying to take second away from Dylan Thoreau. 3 wide on the inside. Henry Sanford gets turned right up in front of Gene Sanford, his sister. Caution's waving as they spin down out of turn number 4. Everybody's able to avoid. Yellow is out. Daniel Gilbert is on the pit lane, and that guy right there made the move he needed to. More than likely, we will not go back to green before lap 40. Both Jacob Lawler and Nick Smith have just raced their way back onto the tail end of the lead lap. Wow. Jeff Fair going to have the lead. He will have Dylan Thoreau on his back bumper on the restart. Then the lap car of McLeod. Then you got Jessica Shelton, Gene Sanford, and Henry Sanford. How they were able to all keep it together, I don't know. Henry Sanford is one lucky guy, though, I'll tell you. Caution flag waves one more time. We'll have less than 10 to go, I'm sure, when we come back. Let's take a look at yet another replay. Well, we saw the incident with Henry Sanford, but that wasn't what brought out the caution. This was actually what brought the yellow flag out. It's going to be a bit of contact between Kyle Matthews, who seems to get really loose off this corner, and David Rivera, who also gets loose. Up ahead as well, there was another incident. That was Lewis Stevens and James Qualls. We'll look at that in a minute. There you see Ty Dent gets a piece of this one. But let's jump up to the 62 and the 70. The two of them get together, and Danny Wells is going to get a big chunk of that, as well as the 2 Penske cars of Matthew Dallio and Chris Maley. Almost the exact same thing we just saw happen with David Rivera and Kyle Matthews. You see the 62 snaps around, the 70 snaps around. They get up into Steve Pollard, and then Danny Wells. Man, that's a hard hit there for Danny. Look at Galligan, the points leader. Oh! Man, I don't know if there was contact there or not. He just barely got a piece of Qualls, I think. And then Lewis Stevens going to create a roadblock there. There's contact there for Maley, and Matthew Dallio held up. And there behind him, you see David Rivera and Kyle Matthews trying to get their cars righted after their spin out as well. So head back now, see how many laps we're going to have left to finish out this race at Martinsville. Well, we've had a little bit of everything here today at Martinsville. We've had drivers spinning out. We've had drivers trying 3 and 4 wide here. We've had drivers race their way back on the tail in the lead lap. We've had chase drivers survive. We've had chase drivers not survive. But I'll tell you what, one thing that's really remained constant all race long is Jeff Fair in this number 23 Chevrolet Camaro. They have not yet given up the lead since taking it away. And one bad thing for him, we are going to be restarting with the lights out, and it is going to be hitting at 10 to go, which means that these drivers are going to have the lap traffic to deal with one more time. The only lap car, though, is James McLeod. Top 10 as we get ready to go back to green include Jeff Fair, Dylan Thoreau, Jessica Shelton, Gene Sanford, and Henry Sanford. Then Chris Washer, Sean Henley, Connor Breton, Dylan Young's now up to 9th, and Cody Lama's still hanging tough in the 10th position. We only have 4 chasers inside the top 10 so far for this restart. Getting ready to go back to green. McLeod does not get the jump. Jeff Fair does. Jeff Fair is going to lead him into turn number 1, and the top 2 at least are going to clear that lap machine of McLeod. And here comes Thoreau. Look into the inside on Jeff Fair for the lead. Whoa! Contact between the sister and brother back there. A little sibling rivalry as Henry and Gene got together, and there's Jessica Shelton trying to get by them on the high side. She gets the wall. Gene Sanford gets the wall, and still the battle on for the lead. Dylan Thoreau looking low on Jeff Fair. He can't quite get the move here on this corner, and he won't have to because the caution flag's waving again. Yellow flag waves one more time. This time it could be for anybody. Anybody could be the caution. Looks like it could very well be for the Danny Wells machine, but we won't know till we look at a replay. We're going to have a bit of a shootout here to finish out this race, but man, I can't get over the contact that we just saw there between Henry and Gene Sanford. They've almost forced each other down to the inside wall in the back straightaway there. And poor Jessica Shelton was caught up in that whole mess. Fortunately, she's still running. Connor Breeden was able to pick up a valuable spot as a result. And then look at this. Dylan Young's now up to 7th, Lamas 8th, and Trent Dunham has now cracked the top 10 and 9th with TJ Dent running right there in the 10th position. But let's take a look at a replay. We'll put us under caution one more time. I think pretty sure Jeff Fair is pretty happy to see that yellow flag because Dylan Thoreau was hounding him there in those last few laps. Under the yellow for another incident just inside the top 10, Sean Henley, who's been having a very strong day. He's going to take this turn super, super hard, too fast. Car just snaps around on him, and then he's going to, well, I don't know if he did make contact with Chris Washer. Did Washer spin? Yeah, Washer spun. So there was contact with the 88. So that's actually why Trent Dunham moved his way up into the top 10, because two drivers in the top 10 got together there. Henley sliding through turn 1 and collecting Chris Washer along with him. So that's what brings us under the caution once again. Let's go back for what I think is going to be the last restart, but then again, it's Martinsville. You never know. So here's the scenario we're left with. I think we'll go green with 5 laps remaining. I'm not certain. If the caution comes out early, we may get back green for a 1-lap shootout. If it comes out late, though, more than likely the race would end under yellow, which I'm sure Jeff Fair wouldn't have any problem with. He has dominated this race. Dylan Thoreau right behind him in second, another driver who's not gone to victory lane yet this season. Then there's the lap machine of James McLeod, who will have to start in this single file formation now. He will not be able to get to the inside line in the lap down lane. He will have to start single file, which is bad news here for 3rd place Henry Sanford, 4th place Gene Sanford, 5th place Connor Breeden, and then Jessica Shelton, Dylan Young, Cody Lamas, Trent Dunham, and TJ Dent. Right now we got a lot of chasers up here. Dunham, Young, Lamas, and Gene Sanford in the 21. Right now they're looking to use this race to be able to propel themselves higher in the point standings. Lamas comes in 2nd, Dunham comes in 3rd, Gene Sanford comes in 6th, and Dylan Young comes in 8th. Here we go, getting ready to go back to green. Dylan Thoreau was putting up a challenge on Jeff Fair before. Can he do it again? He's right there as they take the green to finish out today's race. Thoreau looked a little squirrely through that corner, and he's going to lose a little bit of ground on Jeff Fair at this current moment. Henry Sanford makes quick work of James McLeod. He'll go by and take the 3rd position. And then you got Gene Sanford and Connor Breeden trying to make their way by. They're having a little bit more difficulty getting by James McLeod. Alex May back on pit road. Been making numerous pit stops today. Here comes Thoreau looking. Almost bumper grabbed him, and the yellow flag's out again. Yellow flag waves again, and whoa, William Bedford gets turned off the nose of Kyle Corbett. He'll be able to still get back in line, but fortunately he didn't hit anything. He was heading down towards the water barrels there. And, yeah, who was the caution this time? Could very well have been the 99 of Steve Pollard. And I'm not rightly sure, but this race may end under yellow, which in all honesty I don't think is such a bad thing. But Jeff Fair certainly is hoping that's the case, because they are hitting the stripe with 3 laps remaining. I don't think we'll get back for a 1-lap shootout, but then again, you never know. So we'll quickly take a look at a replay of what just happened, but I think this race may end under yellow now, and Jeff Fair may be picking up his first career Mobil1 Cup Series victory. Just a big host of cars here, all battling for position late. Initial contact happens there between Joshua Collard and Sean Henley. There's Jacob Lawler, who had just raced his way back on the tail end of the lead lap, getting a piece of it. Steve Pollard gets turned around as well. And then there's going to be a little bit more incident that goes on here that's going to collect more drivers. There you see Danny Welch just squeak by, but you're going to see Kyle Matthews in a moment. There he is. He's going to get into it with, I think, it's Sean Henley. Right here, yep. Henley gets a hit there from Chris Maley, and then Kyle Matthews is going to give him a shot there as well. David Rivera goes down all the way to the bottom of the racetrack in order to avoid. Galligan going to try and do the same to pick up a couple of spots as they all cross the line. So that's what puts under the caution once again. This race, I believe, is going to end under yellow, so let's head back now for the white and checkered flags. White flag was just displayed over the hood of rookie Jeff Fair, who has just dominated here today. Can't say he hasn't been challenged. Dylan Thoreau giving him a little bit of action there in the final few laps of this race, but Jeff Fair able to hang on, and in a season that has been anything but good. It's been such a dismal season for this team. 40th in the point standings. He's way down there. I believe out of the drivers that are still running full-time this season, he is next to last in rookie points. But there's a silver lining in the dark cloud for this team, because today they are going to win at Martinsville. Jeff Fair will pick up his first career Mobil1 Cup Series victory here in the second race of the chase. Dylan Thoreau going to come away with second place, a great run for him. And Henry Sanford, who's been hit here, there, and everywhere all day long, he's going to still be able to battle up there into a third place position. Lights are out atop the pace car. The standings should be official by now. And indeed they are. Ignore the lap down things. For some reason they do that. But I believe that the drivers that finished on the lead lap are all the way down to the 25th position in Anthony McCurry. Everybody else finished off the lead lap. So take a look there. Connor Breed. Nice battle back for him in fourth. Gene Sanford fifth. Jessica Shelton sixth. I'll tell you, Henry, Gene, Breton, and Jessica Shelton, those four had a rather eventful last 20 laps or so. Dylan Young battles in for 7th, Cody Lamas in 8th, Trent Dunham 9th. Great run for all three of those chasers. And TJ Dent started 2nd. He did a lot better than the pole sitter brother did in 10th place. And then you take a look and see where the rest of the chasers finished. You got Kyle Corbett in 12th, Austin Mongol finishes in 13th, Chris Washer 15th, Ty Dent finishes in 16th place. Then Jacob Lawler, who battled his way back onto the tail end of the lead lap after being caught a lap down early, he'll finish the race out in the 21st position. Looking further down, you got to look for drivers that are then off the lead lap or out of the race, where you find Lewis Stevens in 32nd. Very likely that could be a death knell for that 62 team and take them out of the hunt for the championship already. Sean Galligan, the points leader coming into this race. Boy, did he have a tough week here at Martinsville. 36th here today, finishing 2 total laps down. So he will undoubtedly lose the points lead here this week. Probably, I would say, to Cody Lamas. And then Alex May made numerous pit stops during the course of the day. His car was never the same again after his contact, and he is the lowest finishing chaser today. Still finished the race, but 4 laps down in the 38th position. And then out of the race, Bob Jones, Clay Rogers, his teammate Chris Louvier, and Dylan Poteet. So we have gone 2 chase races with 2 non-chase winners. James McLeod winning last week at Daytona, Jeff Fair winning this week at Martinsville. So the chasers, you know, there's some of them that are getting good finishes, but they're not finding victory lane and those valuable 5 bonus points for winning that come with each and every win. Anyway, though, folks, hope you enjoyed today's race, this Wreckfest, I should say, from Martinsville. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finisher results. You see them here all the way down through 42nd. Now here come your official rookie points, overall points, and chase points heading into next week. Next week, the Mobil1 Cup Series heads to road course racing at Chatham, but not before the 3 divisions of Snickers head here to the short track of Martinsville as well. You've been watching production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. So long from Martinsville, Virginia, everyone.